Torah portion. We are learning the weekly Torah portion, Nitzavim. We are in the sixth reading of the Torah portion. In the book, the fifth book, Devarim, Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 11. Today we're going to get the verse that all of Tanya is based on. One verse in the Torah. We're going to get that today. Amen. All right. Verse number 11. Ki mitzvah hazois, for this mitzvah, this commandment, asher anoichi. You have a book? Take a book. What page? What page is?
It's 1323.
1323. For this commandment, asher anoichi, that I, mitzavcha, command you hayom today, lo nifleis, it is not, nifla means wondrous from you, meaning like distant, not hidden from you, but actually, yeah, maybe in the context it means hidden.
Yeah.
Mimcha, from you, and it is not distant.
Is that from Tanya?
No, that verse, no, but it's in the context of. Let's see, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there in a moment. Rashi, lo nifleisi mimcha. It's not. Rashi explains again. The word nifleisi comes from the word pella. Pella means a wonderment, but in the context, Rashi says lo mechusehi mimcha, that it's not hidden from you. As we see, lo yipalei. That's what uncle is translated. Arise iskase, a matter that is a judgment that's hidden. Betered poloyim, betered matmoniyos, meaning to go down in a concealed place. So we see that it's sometimes translated as meaning hidden, even though that's not the root of it. Because something that's wondrous is beyond us. Right? That's what we call it, wondrous. It's like hidden from us. So that's in that, right? And that's the way the root of it would be. Mechuse, hidden, chavushim bitomun, confined and concealed place. Okay? So it's not hidden from us. Meaning this command, in other words, if you're learning Torah, it's not hidden from you. Whatever you need to find as the law, you're going to find it's there in the Torah. Whatever the law is, right? You're going to be able to find it. That's the context over here, right? Number 12, lo b'shamayim, it's not in heaven either, right?
Wow. It's
not in heaven. Lamor, to say me, that in other words, you're going to say, who's going to go up to us to heaven? And take it for us. And make us hear it, teach it to us. Or you saw it. That we should do it, that we should perform the mitzvahs. In other words, said, this is a heavenly thing. This is not earthly. This is not something that we're capable of learning it. We need to get some angel to go up there to get it for us, right? No, it's not that way. That's what the verse is saying, right? Rashi in number 12, he says, Lo b'shamayim, what does it mean? Not in heaven, Shiloh. He said, b'shamayim, that if it were in the heavens, I have to go after it to learn it. It's not there. It's interesting how that Rashi explains it that way, because you know what we learn from here? I'm surprised that why Rashi doesn't learn it this way. He's learning it like in a figurative way, right? Meaning the Torah would be in heaven, that we would have to go to heaven to learn it, right? We'd have to have an angel come and teach it to us. An angel's going to go up there, or our soul goes up there, right? That's the idea. Go on top of the Tibetan mountain and go gaze and, try to find God. No, it's not up there, right? It's not up there. We'll see in a moment. What does that mean? We're going to go further first. But you know what we learn out from this? What do we learn out from this? Famous story in the Gemara of Rabbi Lezer. He was one opinion against all of the rabbis, and they were speaking about a tanur, an oven, a unique oven. And I'm not going to go into the details of we're learning now the laws of tahara, right? The laws in Rambam of impurity. So this oven, we're probably going to get to. We're going to get to it when we get to other things that are impure. What did we learn till now? What did we learn till now? The laws of corpse, right? Impurity that comes by a corpse. This is an oven that's impure, right? So the question was is it pure and impure? And it was a debate between the majority of rabbis. I think it was Rabbi Lazar, if I remember correctly. And he said, if I'm right, so that was the last thing. No, that was the last thing. That was not the first thing. He said, let the river, the Ganoi River, run backwards. Guess what it did? It ran backwards. If I'm right, and rabbis didn't go for it. If I'm right, let this oak tree be uprooted and be uprooted, and guess what? A wind came, uprooted it. If I'm right, he said, let the walls of the base medrash cave in, right? And they started to cave in. And then I think it was Rabbi Yossi, if I remember, said, stop. Can't do that. Let's stop. And then if I'm right, let a baskol, a heavenly voice, come and say that my opinion is correct. And you know what came up? A heavenly voice came and said that he's correct. And the rabbi stood up and they said, no.
Whoa.
Torah loy b'shamayim. Torah is not in heaven. It's down here in this world. We are the ones who make the decision. Heaven doesn't make the decision. That's what this verse is saying over here. I'm surprised Rashi doesn't bring that. I don't know why, because seemingly that, is a teachings that Torah is coming to say over here. But in context, I could understand, because it's not talking about that. It's talking about thinking that Torah is a heavenly thing, and it's not meant for us here on earth so much, right? So I get that. But we learn from here, right? So therefore, there's one opinion of one rabbi. There was a rabbi back away about 2,000 years ago who had an opinion. His opinion was that you get the death sentence for your opinion, because your opinion is your rebellion. And that was the law. His opinion, well, because if you rebel against a majority of opinion, right? We learned that in Parsha Shoftim. We learned that a few weeks ago, right? You get the death sentence if you're not going to listen to the majority opinion, right? And you're going to go with your own opinion, saying that you're coming in the name of God, right? We learned that, right? So here we learned this. That's not in heaven. Right. In other words, what?
For me, your analogy makes sense.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm bringing all of that just to say I understand in the context and why Rashi doesn't. I'm surprised he doesn't bring it maybe as a davar acher, another alternative explanation to understand these words. Remember, what is Rashi coming to teach us? Which means pshutai shel mikra. Remember those words, pshutai. The simple understanding of the mikra. Mikra means of the verse. What the verse is coming to say, right? He's not coming to tell us the hinted meaning, not the homiletic meaning, not the mystical meaning. Is there all those things there also? Yeah, sometimes we can find those things. But what he's coming primarily to tell us is the simple meaning. So for some reason, that's not the simple meaning, which maybe we'll see if there ever says something. That's interesting.
It says that the wall actually started to cave.
I said that.
And he said, stop.
And the Yabri said, stop. And he stopped it.
Yeah.
He said that, I forget, I have to look at the Gemara. It's a very gishmak Tiberi actually found, guess, by the way, guess what, I forget now who they asked. They said, what was God doing at that time? What was God doing at that time when this debate was going on? And after the rabbi said, no, Torah b'shamayim here. What do you think God was doing? Allowed to get, I'll take it. Huh? What do you think he was doing?
Testing.
Well, that's what happened. That's what was happening. But what was God's response to all of this?
He proved it.
So,
He
huh?
was happy that we take responsibility for it.
So it says, Natzchuni, Banai, Natzchuni. My children, they overcame me. They did better than me. And God was smiling and laughing. That my children did better than me. Hear that? That we did. Why? Because they held strong with what's right. Even though you see miracles before you. He did miracles, right? He did miracles. Miracles mean nothing. Miracles mean nothing. Why? Because if you're going against the Torah, people have power. They can do miracles, but it means nothing. Torah means everything. And since he was one opinion against the rabbinic, the other opinions, right? Of whether this oven was pure or not pure, right? It doesn't matter what you perform and what you even prove from heaven, because Torah loy b'shamayim, right?
That's why
Torah is not in heaven.
Rabbi Meir, Hanes, many of his thinking is not implemented, not because it's not right, it's just he was way above the other thing.
Right.
Couldn't function.
Right. Exactly. Okay, verse number 13. So continue now in saying, Loi me'ever liyam, it's not across the sea. He, Lemor, to say miyaver lanu, who will cross for us, is a ever ayam, to who's going to cross the sea for us, v'kechena lanu, and take it for us, v'yashmi'enu oisan, to teach it to us. What is this that's over the, what are we talking about? No, that's not what the verse said at all. That's not what the verse said at all, right?
It was referring to that, I understand.
No, it's a no. What's it referring to? Hello, huh? What are we talking about here? The Torah is not in heaven. The Torah is not across the sea. That's who's going to go and get it for us from across the sea and bring it to us and to teach it to us. B'yashmienu, and let us hear it. Oh, you saw. B'nasena, that we should do it. No, that's not what the verse said. What?
I don't understand.
Because you're looking further. That's why. And what you have, the next statement is what the next statement says, and you're saying it before the next statement. So that's what you're doing.
I was going backwards, actually.
Well, whatever, but you're not going forward.
I'm not here.
You're not going forward, right?
Yeah.
The verse just said it's not across the sea. It didn't say where it was, right? Just say it's not in heaven. It's not across the sea. That's what it said, right? In other words, it's not distant from us. It didn't say where it was, right? That's now we're going to go there, but can we wait till we get there? No. For you, you're not doing anything. You're not doing any harm to anybody but yourself by not being in what we're learning, right?
An interpretation of that is that, let's say you want to decide something in halacha. You don't need to go in China and you don't need to go in Australia. God is already giving you all the information you need where you are to decide. And then that's one of
Verse 14. This is the verse that the Alter Rebbe brings in his title page now of Tanya, that he bases all 53 chapters of the first part of Tanya on one verse in the Torah, this coming verse. Now we're going to learn it, and we're going to see how Rashi explains it, and is at nothing at all the way the Alter Rebbe explains it. Nothing at all. But that's okay, because Rashi is explaining it according to who could say it in Hebrew?
Everywhere where you we.
It's a simple meaning.
Huh?
It's the simple meaning, with Rashi.
Pshuta, pshutai shel mikra. Pshutai means from the word pashut, meaning simple. Pshutai shel of mikra. Mikra means the verse. Pshuta shel mikra. Good words to know. Okay. All right. Let's see what the verse says. Ki korev, rather. Ki means rather. The word ki has 4 different meanings to it. Here it means rather. Okay. It can sometimes mean when, it can mean if,
Because.
or because. It can be any one of those. Here it means rather. Okay? Got it?
Yes.
He rather. Karve lecha. It's close to you. Hadavar azeh. Hadavar ma'oid. Sorry. Hadavar ma'oid. This thing. Torah mitzvahs, right? Is very ma'oid, very close to you. Beficha, in your mouth. Obilvavcha, and in your heart, la'asoisa, to do it. Let's see, Rashi. Rashi says that it's korev, ki korev elecha. What does it mean? Rather, this matter is very near to you. What does that refer to? Torah shenitna lachem, the Torah that was given to you, biksav, biksav, in writing, ubal peh, and orally.
Wow. Non, je suis là, je suis dans le rêve. Oui, j'ai compris. Pour moi, Jérusalem est ici.
So how do we understand this? What was Rashi saying over here? So till now, what do we think till now when we said that it's not in heaven, it's not across the sea? What is that? A spatial difference, right? That physically. So that's why you brought up China, this and that. But that's not what it means, right? That's what the imagery gave across, right? Because this verse is saying, right, that it is not that it's physically close to you, but it is in spirit close to you, because it is in writing and in the oral Torah, right? How do we get the oral Torah? I'm actually have problems with this Rashi. I don't get, which I'll get to in a moment. But this is the way I'm understanding it based on to the commentators that explain, because it says beficha, in your mouth. What's in your mouth? Why is it in your mouth? Because that's the Torah Shebal Peh. Torah Shebal Peh means the Torah of the mouth, which means oral, meaning not written, right? So what's close to you? Those 2 elements, the written word and the oral tradition that comes together with it. Both things making up the Torah is close to you, not spatially, not that you have it at hand, but it is available to you that you can internalize it and own it and make it yours. Okay? That's what Rashi says. So I have a little difficulty over here because then the way I'm understanding from the commentators is that beficha, in your mouth, is referring to Torah Shebal Peh, but Rashi doesn't bring it down in the from the verse. He should have said to me, I mean, my question is, not should have said, but the question is on Rashi, to me at least, is that he should have said v'chulu, and so on, to refer to the entire verse. But he's only referring, his difficulty is the words ki karev elecha, that is close to you. So you meaning that it's close to you, not spatially, but close to you that you can internalize it. Okay, and now I'm getting the answers. I'm explaining it. How could it be close to you, internalize it? How can you internalize Torah? If you only have the written word, not possible. Without the oral tradition, it's not possible to internalize the Torah, that it makes it near to you, elecha, to you, meaning in you, of you, a part of you. That's what it means. Okay, got it. See, I had to go through the process myself to verbalize it because otherwise I wouldn't. Because in my mind it didn't make sense, but now I get it. I mean, the way the commentator will see if the Rebbe, what the Rebbe says on it. Yes, Chaim. L'chaim.
Why can't we say that you can understand also that the Torah is not just to keep in your heart, but when you daven, you need to utter, you have to teach, you have to utter physically the FIFA. So there's another level of
Physical.
practicing. It's not just not just to have it in your heart. It's important that the lips would be moving as well.
So Pshuta Shemikra, it's not because we're not speaking about davening here, right? The simple meaning is not. What you're saying, it makes sense in what you're saying, but not according to Rashi, right? Because that's not the simple meaning of. Because we're not talking. If we were talking about davening over here, so then you could say that that's what's close to you, that you got to express it verbally your prayers. But that what we're speaking about here is about Torah, right? Torah is not in heaven that you have to go get it and have it taught to you. Torah is close to you. It's close. It's not just close. Close. Because it says elecha, right? Elecha, to you, meaning to internalize within you. Torah is close. That's the whole key. What the commentators are explaining, right? Meaning, so how's that? Well, Torah is not close if you just read the 5 books of Moses. You will get nothing from it without the oral tradition. So how do you internalize it? How do you make it a lecha to you, that it's a part of you, that it's internalized in you, is because you have both the written and the oral tradition. So it's not from the word beficha at all. Not from that at all. Got it? Yes, my friend.
Think?
Can you think? Yes.
Yes.
I hope you're thinking.
That some of Chabad who say the technology is a way to Mercia, because with internet we don't have the territory in China, Australia, because everywhere we are in the same time, and maybe it's also a way to the Mashiach, messianic.
That's for sure. That's what the Alter Rebbe uses this verse. So I want to go into the Rebbe, what he says on what we just learned, okay? But it's on the verse Loi Bashamayim, that it's not in heaven.
It's Matan Torah.
Huh?
Matan Torah.
What?
It was in heaven. And then the Lord brought it down to Moses.
Right.
So it's not Bashamayim.
Right.
Given to you.
Given to you. Yeah. Exactly.
We need a material territory. That's why we need to Jerusalem physical.
Amen. Okay. So, okay. Are we, everybody with me? Yeah. Yeah, you're with me? You're listening?
That are not.
Even those who are not here today. Okay, so the Rebbe asks on Rashi, right? That what does Rashi say? That Loi b'shamayim here, it's not in heaven. What did Rashi say? That if it was in heaven, that we would have to go up there after it to learn it, right? That's what Rashi says, right? So the Rebbe asks, why does the verse extend itself so much? Marich, so extensive, and Rashi likewise, in description that really doesn't have any reality to it. But well, you're gonna go up to heaven. Well, what does that mean? What does it even mean? Like, what does that mean? Right? Like, why is it what? So the Rebbe is asking on the verse itself, and Rashi, who's expounding and extending the verse, right? That he's making a big that if it wasn't heaven, that we would have to go up there to learn it. Like it sounds very make believe, right? Sounds make believe, right?
See also what page.
And if the intent over here is just to bring a clarity that the Torah is close to every single one of us, right? I mean, if that's what it's coming to do, to tell us how close it is, right? So give it in a more straight way without giving, to ask the question that, that we would have to go into some kind of illusionary, situation of going to heaven. Like, be straight about it, be simple. Say, you don't have to go to China for this. Right? Like you said, right? Whatever. Obviously, not going to say China, but whatever. You don't have to give something a little more real, right? Because in the end, all you want to do is bring it close to home, right? So making it so fantastic that is so the Rebbe explains. Loi b'shamayim, you're not in heaven. So we already had this previously. Are you everybody following? You got the questions clear? Yeah, girls, it's clear. So we already had previously, if we follow the word shamayim, heaven, right? And what was that? What was the context there? That's when God is going to kick us out of the land, right? And bring us to the furthest ends of the earth. Eventually, he's going to bring us back. Remember, we learned that, right? That was a prophecy of unique prophecy of what's going to happen to the Jewish people. No other people did it ever happen to. They got dispersed amongst other nations, right? And they come and they stay with their identity, and then they come back, right? So what was one of the things that it said there? That you're going to be dispersed? That if you're going to be dispersed, say Hashemayim, to the ends of the heavens, right? I'm going to collect you from there and bring you back. So there we use the same word. Also, it sounds fictitious. It sounds like non-real, right? So what do we mean when we say this word Shemayim? The Rebbe says. There and here. Following? So remember, we're learning Rashi. So Rashi means we're learning it. What's the words? Huh? Everybody together. Let's say it together. Pshutai shel mikra. Okay, you guys are great. You guys are amazing. Pshutai shel mikra. Simple meaning of the verse. Okay. So obviously now, in simple meaning of the text, the Rebbe is saying, when we speak about heaven, we don't mean literally heaven. What we mean is to being to the furthest ends that are possible. That's what it's a metaphor to understand according to the Pshuto Shel Mikra. In others, we're not according to the hinted meaning, right? Which, okay, that makes sense. Simple meaning, when you say those words, Shamayim, heaven, in the context of the previous verse and our verse here, it means to the furthest distance that you could find yourself. Yeah. So therefore, in our verse, when it means not in heaven, that you might say, who's going to go for us to the heaven to take it for us, or over the sea in order to take the Torah for us, right? And what does it mean? That when the Jewish people are found in Galus, what's Galus? Exile. Very good. That's also a word we need to know. In exile, meaning, what's exile mean? In the most distant place, physically and spiritually, right? You might think that Torah and mitzvahs are only capable to be performed where? In a heavenly situation, when you are living heavenly, like in the land, and that's what, wow, me'ever liyam, or across the sea, across the river. Which river? Which river? The Jordan River. That's where that's where the Jewish people are now, to go across into the river. When we say me'ever liyam, when we say across the Yam, we mean the Jordan River, that terminology. And others in the land of Israel, that's where you could keep Torah and mitzvahs.
The Jordan is not a Yam.
Huh?
Jordan is not a Yam.
Me'ever liyam, yeah, that's a term that is
Nahar.
used. That's the term. It's the term we use for it. It's me'ever liyam. We don't say me'ever liyam. We don't, right?
Me'ever lanahar.
No,
It's used in the Chumash many times.
No, me'ever liyam, not me'ever nahar.
And that's specifically for the Jordan River.
Yeah. Where does it say nahar? Doesn't say nahar. It says liyam. Me'ever liyam. Anyways, whatever. This is what it means. This is what the Rebbe is explaining. You following? Right? That, in other words, when you are not in exile, you're in the land of Israel in a time where God's Shekhinah, his presence, is there, as opposed to exile, which you are dispersed to the ends of the earth, so to speak, right? In a dark place, and therefore, who's going to take it for us there? How can we observe Torah and mitzvahs in such a situation? Right? Wow. Therefore, the emphasis over here on the verse that it's not in heaven and not me'ever yam, but it is close to you, this very close to you, even when the Jew is in exile. It's not about spatial place. It's not about you're in Israel or you're out of Israel. Wherever you are, Torah and mitzvahs is close to you. Oh my gosh, this is just unreal. What? No, that's that's not the point over here. I mean, that's a similarity to it, but leave that aside for the moment, right? Because then you won't get the nuance here, right? Because all you're doing is playing it into what you know already, rather than learning something new and appreciating the nuance in this. That's why it's don't connect it. After you've really got this, then you can connect it. Okay? But rather it's karev elecha to you. Where? Where's it close to you? Where's it close to you? Amram, where's it close to you? In China? No, wherever you are. That's the point. It's not about what your situation is. It's about you. And knowing that Torah is close to you. Wherever you are, even in exile. It's still in your hands. Torah mitzvahs. You're able to learn it. You're able to fulfill it. It's mitzvahs. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. What the Rebbe just did for me, because I had a problem how from what Rashi said, Pshuto Shemikra, how that ties in with what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. But now what the Rebbe did, he actually tied it in so simply to the next step. Rashi doesn't do that because it's not a question in the simple meaning of the text, but we've got time. I'm going to go there and tell you what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. Some of you might know already, but we'll see how that fits in so perfect with the what? Oh, wow. Folks, thank God we have a Rebbe. Because, we have a Rebbe, you know what? We have also a Rashi, we understand. We have a Rashi. And because we have a Rashi, what do we have? We have a Moshe Rabbeinu, we have a Moses that taught us in Chumash. If we didn't have all of this, we would be blind in seeing this. But the Rebbe opens up our eyes. I'm just blown away. Blown away. So, did you follow? I don't think you followed. I think I was over your heads. You got it? Yeah? Menachem Hillel. You followed? Diane, Davida, Liba. Huh? That's not what we just learned, though. I mean, we learned Pshita Shemikra. I want to emphasize the unbelievable thing that Rebbe, what the Rebbe did with Rashi over here, is make it so like simple and obvious. So what does Shemayim mean? What does the word Shemayim heaven mean? Huh? What?
The sky.
A heavenly spiritual place. What does Me'ever Liyam mean? The place where a spiritual heavenly place, Israel. Right? So don't think that it's only in the heavenly, spiritual, and the holy land that's where Torah and mitzvahs is applicable and it will be applied, will be relevant. Don't think that. Kikar ve'lecha, it's close to you. Wherever you are, whatever situation you're in, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you're the furthest place, most distant, you're a shliach of the Rebbe in a place where it's a desert, it's dead, the people there are distant, they're from Yiddishkeit. It's close to you and you can bring it to them, you can teach it to them and bring them close. That's what this verse is saying. This verse is saying we have to be a shliach and we have to bring Torah mitzvahs to every single Jew. Wow. Now, let me explain what the Alter Rebbe explains on this. Alter Rebbe explains, and briefly, it's close to you. Torah mitzvahs is close to you. So it's not just close to you, it's also ma'od, very close. So the Alter Rebbe explains chapters 9 through 17, how it's close to you. And then chapters 18 through 25, how it's very close to you. Okay? Shalom. You hear?
I don't understand.
So Tanya, you know Tanya? You learned Tanya?
Yes, I know little Tanya.
So the Alter Rebbe explains how Torah mitzvahs and God are close to us, chapters 9 through 17, that it's close. And it's very close, 18 through 25. What's the difference? 9 through 17 is speaking about how the mind has dominion over the heart and how what you know about God can affect your heart. That's close. But it's not very close because not everybody has a mind to be able to think properly and to think about God and to meditate upon God to give you a feeling towards God. You know what's very close? The divine soul that we have in us that loves God already and doesn't want to be separated from God, that's very close to us. And then if you reveal that truth of your divine soul, that's very close to you. It's not as hard a job as doing it with your mind, with Chabad. That's a harder job, right? Now, where is it close, though? What's close? To be a tzaddik is to be close? Can we all be tzaddikim, righteous? No. The verse says, Beficha, in your mouth. Bilvavcha means in your heart. What does it mean in your heart? So here is a nuance, double nuance of the word heart, and that's why the verse says heart. Because it means on the simple level, on this level, not simple level, but the Alter Rebbe explains, heart means your thoughts. Well, what's heart got to do with your thoughts? Because you think about that which is on your heart. that which you weighs heavy on your heart, you're going to think about. That which you are enamored with in your heart, you're going to think about. That which you have no feelings in your heart, you'll never think about. So your thoughts are based on what's your feelings. So here it means, so why doesn't it say thoughts? I'll get to that in a moment. But so it means thoughts. So we have speech, thought, lasaisa means to do. What do we have that's close to us that we can connect to Hashem through Torah and mitzvahs? Thought, speech, and action, which are what we call garments of the soul that we have a capacity to control. And that's what the book of the Beinoni is all about, that he has control over thought, speech, and action. And that's what the verse is saying over here, right? Our thought, speech, and action. So why does it say thought? Why does it say heart? Because look at the word over here. It says in your heart to do. So the Beinoni is given the capacity to master themselves, that they can have a feeling of love of God enough to bring you to act towards God, to do the mitzvah of God. Not to have full-blown feeling necessarily, right? But enough to bring you to action. And really, that's, a love can be a romantic feeling, or love is really about putting it into action. So what is the love that's everybody it's close to us? The love of God, because that's what it says, right? In your heart. What are we all capable? That I have enough love of God and enough awe of God that it brings me to do for God. Sufficient. That's something we can all, that's karev, ma'od, that's close to us and very close to us. That I can transform my heart? No, that's not close to any of us. Only the righteous can do that. We can't do that. We can't transform our heart. Right? That what? We're only going to love God and not love my coffee?
It's supposed to be more sholet al
I don't. Moyach Shalta Alev is only to bring you to do for God, not to transform your heart. That you don't follow your heart. That's right. But you still have it in your heart. I still want this. I still lust this. Right? So Moyach Shalta Alev, mind having dominion on our heart, means I'm not going to follow it. But it means I still have it there. The desire is there. That we can all do. But that the desire should be uprooted, only the righteous have. The verse isn't talking about the righteous. The verse is talking about that we can all become a Beinoni. That's the basis of Tanya. This one, can you imagine? This is just one verse in the entire Torah. This is one verse. And 53 chapters of the Tanya is based on one verse in the Torah. Now, does it quote other verses in Tanya? Of course it does. But the basis, if you understand this one verse, you have the basis in the entire Tanya. Right? And I just explained it now, very briefly. How? And if those who've learned Tanya, then understand how in that one verse you could see all, right? So therefore, the first 8 chapters is about knowing the animal soul and the godly soul. Why? Because that's where the battle's going to be between. Then that it's close to you, that you can overcome your animal soul. How? With mind over the heart, that you don't follow your animal soul that is rooted in the left ventricle of your heart, that you don't follow it, and you follow the ways of Hashem. And then the chapters 18 through 25 teach us on how it's very close, because it's actually the makeup of the Jewish soul. And when you understand how it's a makeup of the Jewish soul and get in tune with that part of you, right? Get in touch with it, then it becomes very close to you. It's not a distant thing. It's not something you have to work very hard for. Then chapters 26 through 34. Say, okay, that's in a perfect world that I can have mastery over myself. But we don't live in a perfect world. We get curveballs sent us that bring us down. How do we stay in joy all the time in order to be able to access what we just said? So he explains how you can always be in an attitude, an attitude of joy. We go through that, and then after that, we go further and further into explaining the purpose of the Beinoni and so on.
Wish you would have told me this 5 years ago.
I probably did.
But I was surprised.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, got it. Oh, we got to go to Tanya right away. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize. I got too excited about what I'm doing. Thank God.